Yes, those two may be basic for any definition of life, organic or inorganic.
Well, Doctor, you're charting unknown seas, so how do we proceed?
Hello, I've dug up some very amazing facts this week about the Star Trek Next Generation Series 1 episode, Home Soil. So let's get stuck in. This episode is about Starfleet asking the Enterprise to check in on some terraformers while adventuring around the area of Valara 3. Okay, so during the episode, Gates McSomething actually crosses the threshold of having said over 3,000 words in Star Trek Next Generation, which is actually the most words that any actor has said in Star Trek up until this point. In second place is Patrick Stewart with 2,700 plus words, and in last place is Worf, who has only spoken 350 Star Trek words up until this point with episode 18. Now, in this episode, the character of Director Mandel, he's actually played by that old bloke from James Bond, Walt Gorney. Originally, it was to be Ian McKellen playing the part, but he was too busy filming Lord of the Rings, so they made do with the James Bond man instead. Even though he has James Bond heritage, there is absolutely no sign of Bond-style gadgets during the episode, like maybe a pen with a strong magnet in the tip, or an umbrella with a car in the handle. The terraformers in the episode are dressed as chefs. It could be just a coincidence, or maybe it's a physical manifestation of a metaphor for cooking up trouble. Despite actually dressing like chefs, they seem much more interested in hydraulic probes than actually making a delicious strawberry pudding. So maybe they're not really chefs and it's just a coincidence. Now, because the planet of Valara 3 has a smaller mass and greater dynamic gravity than Earth, there is only 6 days a week on this planet. Gene Roddenberry and Rick Berman almost came to blows over which day of the week they were going to disregard in this episode. Gene Roddenberry wanted no part of having a Friday in the episode, but Rick Berman wanted no Sunday. In the end, they compromised. No Friday at all, and Sunday would be renamed July. So the week on Valara 3 goes like this: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, July. And that's what we have in the episode. Did you notice during this episode that Wesley's hair actually looks incredibly thick? Now, Will Wheaton had been at school that week and he was involved in the high school prank in the science class, which led to him losing over half of his hair. So the special effects team helped to insert hundreds of wooden hairs for this episode onto his head so that he wouldn't look any more ridiculous than he is. When Captain Picard exclaims in this episode to Director Mandel, "I hate you and I hate your planet," Patrick Stewart actually made himself angry for the cameras by dwelling on an incident in England in his youth when he was short-changed for a portion of chips. This is actually his go-to memory for getting upset during any acting role. All he has to do is relive in his mind being short-changed for some chips.
What we're dealing with is the sample organic.
Negative carbon, negative known life components.
In this episode, Home Soil, Wesley Crusher is seen wearing his rainbow-coloured jumper, a top that, while quite acceptable in space, would draw the aggression of high school bullies should he steal it and wear it to school. Thankfully, there's absolutely no evidence that he did this for his own good. Star Trek actor of Worf, Michael Dorn, is barely in this episode at all. In real life, outside of the episode, he'd smashed out half of his teeth on a fairground ride, so was having plastic surgery on his mouth to make him more better. He speaks absolutely no words in the episode and barely even fights anyone. Now, Jonathan Frakes' actor, William Riker, had been sharing his children's hiccup candy with his acting colleagues, which led to the extreme bouts of hiccups during filming. One time the director threw his gun at Frakes and screamed at him to grow the hell up and stop ruining his sweet episode. During the episode, we see evidence of how Data is actually faster than the speed of light. When he is trapped in the hydraulic room and the laser is shooting at him, he easily moves out of the laser's beam of death each time, evading its crucial beam of destruction. With speed like this, it's hard to believe that Data ever died. He's even faster than the Flash. Thanks for listening to my facts about Star Trek The Next Generation, Episode 18, Home Soil. There were some quite interesting facts this week, but I can't wait to move on to next week's episode as we ramp up towards the end of Season 1 and head towards Season 2, let alone Series 3, which comes after that. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe unless you don't want to, in which case don't. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!